facility is being managed. And that is why perhaps I was lucky to be invited by the Minister of Health, because I was in town when he was paying a surprise visit to the hospital to assess for himself the conditions that the hospital is in now. Salom, just to take you a little back, about a couple of days ago, a gentleman passed at the hospital, leading to social media campaigns by people in the community asking for the government to fix the hospital, because the death of the gentleman is not an isolated incident, and people have complained about various challenges with the facility. And I think that is what prompted the minister to pay the surprise visit to the hospital. But the dismissal of the CEO, my understanding is that it had nothing directly related to the death of this gentleman, because after the interaction with health professionals at the hospital yesterday, the minister had a management meeting with the hospital staff, and then later announced a 3-member committee that is supposed to go into the cause of the death of 31-year-old Salim. And so not until the 3-member committee submits its report, I don't think that any action taken from now on until that happens is related to the death. But it is just part of government's agenda to reset that hospital and to respond to the calls of the people to fix the TTH, the Tamale Teaching Hospital, to become, the facility that it is expected to be, to save lives and to improve healthcare of the people. I have followed media reports, and they seem to be confusing what happened with the minister's surprise visit and the dismissal of the CEO of the hospital. I think the two are not, directly related. The minister, I do know, have been in consultation with His Excellency the President, in consultation with opinion leaders and stakeholders in the region, and have been, discussing ways to improve the facility. And one of the ways, in his view, especially after his visit yesterday, where he saw some level of deterioration that he queried the management over, decided that the retooling of the facility may have to start with the removal of the CEO and the subsequent formation of a board for the hospital, and probably some more shakeups at the hospital. I also realized that he took notice of some of the challenges that the health professionals face, especially when it comes to lack of the equipment that they need to do their work. And as far as I'm aware, the whole of today, the minister has been working to ensure that some ventilators are procured and, sent to the teaching hospital, because it came up strongly during interaction with the health professionals that at the emergency unit, especially at the red zone, they do not have enough ventilators. So I also know that after the management meeting, he spoke with his colleague Minister for Energy. He also reached out to his colleague Minister for Water Resources and Water Works and Water Resources, because the issue of reliable, water supply to the hospital came up strongly. The issue of dedicated power to the hospital also came up strongly. So these are some of the things that came up. But the dismissal of the CEO, once again, I want to reiterate, had nothing to do directly with the death of 31-year-old Salman. A 3-member committee has been set up to look into that matter. And the CEO of the hospital, again, is not the gentleman who was seen in the video having exchanges with the minister. The gentleman seen in the video having exchanges with the minister is, we are told, a very hard-working staff of the teaching hospital who makes a lot of sacrifices and is a dedicated worker of the hospital. But he was simply cautioned by myself and the minister not to suggest that the loss of the life of Salim was being blown out of proportion, because we thought that was insensitive.
I see. So the point you're making is that whether or not the minister had gone to the place yesterday, the chief executive was going to be relieved of his position.
I believe so, because I do know that extensive consultations have taken place long before the minister decided to pay the surprise visit to the hospital yesterday.
But you can't fault the persons you say on social media who are misrepresenting the facts because of the timing of the termination of the appointment. I mean, all of this happened, some confrontation between the minister and the doctor at the hospital by evening time. Then the chief executive officer is gone. So though you say that there were consultation or discussions on the appointment of a new chief executive, with the president already, the timing of the events actually made it appear like it happened because of the happenings of yesterday.
I agree with that misconception, and I do not intend to fault anybody. I only would encourage that that should be left with people who perhaps are not sophisticated, but those of us in the public space, in the media, in the policy space, in the medical space, who care about these things, should sometimes, go beyond the headlines and get the facts before we take certain stands and positions. I do appreciate that the circumstances can lead to misrepresentations and misreportage. But the facts remain that the gentleman seen in the video in the exchanges with myself and the minister has not, been taken to any disciplinary measure. He's not the CEO, and I do not think he will be taken to any disciplinary measure. It was just advised, strongly offered to him, which he strongly rejected, which we have no problem with. The CEO would have been, I'm sure, dismissed with or without the surprise visit of the Minister of Health, because I know about the consultations that took place before his visit. I think that his visit only afforded him the opportunity to, come to the conclusion that the decision had to be urgently taken. And he decided to do so because of the deterioration of the hospital. I mean, there are facilities at the hospital that have been broken down for the last 5 to 6 years without any, attention given it. In fact, some of the equipment were locked up in hospitals. It took minutes, sometimes hours, for them to even find a key to those rooms to open for us to see. And all of that did not show, top-notch management of the facility. And I'm sure that is what just pushed the minister to urgently take the decision that he took yesterday. But it had nothing to do with the death of 31-year-old Salman. It had nothing to do with the altercation that happened at the hospital. And the altercation did not even include the CEO. The CEO was an observer of what happened. The CEO cautioned his staff, the Dr. Valentine, in this case, to stop talking and stop defending his position. He wouldn't budge. And the minister did same. I did same. He wouldn't budge. We walked away. We do not think that he did anything wrong. We just thought that he perhaps should have been more receptive of the suggestion that we were offering him not to refer to the matter as being blown out of proportion.
Very well. Thank you so much, the Honourable Alasan Suini, Member of Parliament for the Tamale North constituency, for speaking.